Paradise must be won. Paradise must be won. Each day and each night, through darkness and through light, cry it out to the world. Spread the word. Spread the word of Islam.
Death, the thing that you heard about, the thing that you have seen in others. Whenever the time comes for you to die, you're going to die. Don't be sad for leaving this life behind. And don't have fear. There is no place for fear anymore. You should feel secure. That's the glad tidings that the angel will be giving to you when you're leaving this life. Once Prophet Musa asked Allah, he said, "Oh Allah, I want to ask you about what kind of reward that the person will get if he is in the lowest level of paradise." You know, paradise levels, 100 level. Musa said, what about the lowest level? What he's gonna get, or what she's gonna get? Do you know what the answer was? Allah said, this will be the last person to walk into paradise. That person actually, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will take him out of the hellfire, he will not enter paradise. So he say, "Oh Allah, just let me be at the gate of paradise. I'm not going to ask you anything more." Then Allah will let him be at the gate of paradise. That person, Allah will allow him to be at the gate of paradise. He said, "You're not going to ask me anything?" He said, "That's it. I will not ask anything more." That Allah will put him at the gate of paradise. The man will start looking inside paradise, seeing all this, and he would say, "Oh Allah, just let me go inside the paradise, just inside it." Then he said, "You promised me you're not going to ask anything." He said, "Just that." Then Allah will allow him to enter paradise. Then he will tell him, "Wish." This is the last person to enter paradise. Then Allah said to him, "Wish, what you want?" He said, "I want this and this and that, I want all this." Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, "That's it?" And hadith in Sahih al-Bukhari and others. He said, "Yes." Then he said, "No, this and this and this." He remembers something. "I want this and that." Then he said, "All what you asked for will be given." "That's it?" Then he said, "Yes, that's it." فَيُذَكِّرُهُ اللَّهُ بِبَعْضِ مَا كَانَ يَشْتَهِي. Allah will remind him of things that he used to like in dunya, in this life. Allah will tell him, "What about this and that?" He said, "Yes, this and that too. I want to have it." Until he finished, then Allah will tell him, "I will give you all what you ask for, and way more than what you ask for. I will give you equal to the richest person ever, or the greatest king ever lived on this earth." Then the man said, "All what I ask, plus whatever the greatest king or the richest person on the face of the earth used to have?" Subhanallah, humans are humans. He would say, "Oh Allah, you mocking me? And you are the Lord?" Then Allah said, "And I will double it. And 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 I will double it 10 times. Allahu Akbar. This is the lowest level in paradise. Immediately what came to my mind when I was reading the question, the same thought that came to Musa's mind. And I think some of you have the same question that Musa had in his mind in that moment, which is, if this is the lowest, what about the highest? Isn't that the question will come to your mind? Allah told Musa, those who are in the highest level in paradise, the words are not enough to describe what they're going to have. In it, things never been seen. Anything's never been heard of. Anything's never been created before. So that's why there is no words can describe it. I only can describe to you something you have seen or heard of. But I cannot describe to you something it's never been seen before, something never been heard of before. It's beyond your imagination. It is the Jannah that I have created with my own hand and prepare it for the most special people that I ever created. And this is the tub of paradise. Brothers and sisters, this is the Jannah that we all aiming and working hard to achieve. Once the Prophet ﷺ told the companions that in Jannah 8 gates, and there is everybody will be called from one gate. If you are among the people who fast a lot, there is one gate for you. Good to your parents, there is one gate for you. So Abu Bakr said, Ya Rasulullah, can anybody be called from the 8 gates? The Prophet ﷺ said, yes, and you are the one. I have a question for you. From how many gates Abu Bakr will enter paradise? How many gates you think? Only one. No, only one. He cannot enter paradise from the 8 gates. Yani, there is one leg from one gate and one hand from another gate and a head from one gate. And no, it's only one. He's not going to be cut 8 pieces and enter, then all of them come together after he entered. No, no. He's not going to enter from one door and get out and go to the other door. No, this is the rule. If you walk into the paradise, you don't get out. He's going to enter from one. So why he asked the Prophet this question? Because he wants to have the choice. He looking to the best. He want to be the best. You know us today, if you ask any one of us, said, just throw me from the window. I don't mind. Not from 8 gates. I don't mind from any place. Just throw me in. Because we look into the lowest level. Abu Bakr want to be getting the pleasure, the choice. That's what made the difference. Those people make difference. He wants to be called from the 8 gates. You know, my brothers and sisters, what really it takes to move us, that to be really sincere from the bottom of our heart, we turn ourselves to our Lord. It's not hard to be among those that you have heard tonight their future. But all what it takes to be really sincere about it. I have a good friend of mine was shooting an episode in Mecca in the last 10 days of Ramadan. And one of the cameramen, like this gentleman here, he was a very heavy smoker. Which it doesn't mean by any means that they are heavy smoker. But that cameraman was a heavy smoker. He said, my friend, every 20-15 minutes, he said, excuse me, I go outside to smoke a cigarette and come back. So that sheikh, he told him, why you don't quit smoking? Like any smoker I have seen in my whole entire life. The first thing he tells you what? Sheikh, pray for me. Ad'u li ya sheikh. Then the sheikh said, come. He said, I face the Kaaba, I'm in the 10th floor or 11th floor, and I see the Kaaba, and I said, I raise my hand, and he's next to me. In the last 10 days of Ramadan, in the night, in the last third of the night, and I raise my hand and I start saying, praising Allah, mentioning His names, mentioning His attributes. And I spend maybe 2-3 minutes saying, Allah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim al-Aziz, Ya Dhal Jalali wal-Ikram, Ya Khaliq as-Samawati wal-Ard. Praising Allah, mentioning all His names and His beautiful names and attributes. To the extent my heart really starts shaking. And this man, his heart starts shaking just by mentioning Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's names and attributes. And I start praying and asking Allah for him everything you can think of. good to his health, his wealth, his family, you name it. In dunya, in the akhirah, everything. And the man crying, Ameen, 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 crying. Then in the end I said, oh Allah, don't give him anything from this if he doesn't quit smoking. The man was saying, Ameen, Ameen. When he heard that, he said, he stopped. Do you know why he didn't say Ameen? Because he was not ready to quit smoking. Because when he said, pray for me, it didn't really come from the bottom of his heart. It's just a word. You know what, I'm mu'min, I'm Muslim, I do good deeds. But it didn't come really from the bottom of your heart. When this heart turns towards Allah, when this soul will be totally committed to its Lord, when you submit yourself before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the moment you will see the meaning of being.
Asking non-Muslims to come forward with any comments, questions, or criticisms. Without further delay, in order to make things run smoothly and quickly in an orderly manner, I ask Sheikh Basyouni to retake the podium. And I now open the floor to questions. Brother, could you please state your name, your occupation, and then your question?
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Feroz. While you were giving the lecture about, what are the benefits of paradise, this question just struck to my mind. Like my question is, like when you pray and when you iman gets stronger and stronger, after some time you feel like this all material thing doesn't matter to you. So when you describe the paradise in a material sense, does it, will it going to, matter to a person who is very high in his iman? For him the material things like gold, silver doesn't make any sense. He must be looking for something else rather than looking for, wealth and gold and silvers in paradise. So, when the paradise is described, why it is described in terms of materialistic things?
Right. As you heard, the best reward in Jannah is not the houses, is not the hur al-'ain, is not the gold places. The best reward in paradise is seeing Allah, that Allah will be pleased with you, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be close to you, that you will be with the prophets and the messengers and the good believers, that you live a life where is nobody gets sick, nobody gets tired, nobody gets sad, nobody gets worried. This is the joy of it. Plus the materialistic things, which is the marriage, the food, the rest, the thing that you wish to have, like houses and things like that. That's beside that. So it's both way. It's really make you happy spiritually and physically. So it's both sides. Thank you.
Thank you for the question, brother. Young man, please state your name and your occupation.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Yusuf. I do homeschooling. My question is, can a person be promoted to a higher place in Jannah by doing the deeds of getting sawab-e-jariyah? Jazakallah.
Yes, good question, Yusuf. Aslahakallah. Yes, a person can be given, he did a good deeds in this life, which is take them to a certain level. But after his death, maybe he left a sadaqah jariyah, which is a good deed, will continue benefiting others, and he will get the reward of it, so his level will be raised. That's one. Two, also your parents. If your parents in one level, they will ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah said in the Quran, أَلْحَقْنَا بِهِمْ ذُرِّيَّاتِهِمْ وَمَا أَلَتْنَاهُمْ مِنْ عَمَلِهِمْ مِنْ شَيْءٍ. We let their children or their family join them, and we did not take anything from their good deeds. So you will be raised, your level will be raised in paradise by intercession, which can be done by your family members. Yes.
Okay, inshallah. If there's a question from the sister side, we'll take that. Sister, could you please state your name and occupation?
I'm Dina. I'm doing medicine now. You told me that after death, the soul is taken away by the angels and comes back during burial. My doubt is, what happens to the soul in the intermediate time? Does it meet with Allah, or what happens after death and before burial in that time?
Type. The soul of the believers after death, after it will be taken by the angels, as came in the several narrations from the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that it will be taken to the heavens, all the way up to the heavens, and represented before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah will say, I'm pleased with this soul, and return the soul to the body. So the soul will come back to the body of the person when he or she in their grave, and they will ask the questions by the angels: who's your Lord, what is your religion, and who's your prophet? And after that, the soul of the believers will be different, because not all the believers in one level. So for example, the prophets and the messengers and the best of humanities, like the truthful ones, the Siddiqeen, the martyrs, and etc., these souls will be basically taken way up to the prophets and the messengers, will be in the presence of Allah. The souls will be taken, and it will be in a place which is in the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the proof for that, the Prophet ﷺ said upon his death, بَلْ إِلَى الرَّفِيقِ الْأَعْلَى. No, I will choose to be in the company of the Most High. That's the soul of the prophets and the messengers. As for the shaheeds, the one who died as a shaheed, their souls, as came in the hadith, the Prophet ﷺ, will be casted in a green birds, and these green birds will have nests in a golden nest in the shadow of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's throne, and it will roam freely in paradise, eating from the fruits of the paradise. But in the same time, there is other souls which has committed certain sins. These souls will be treated differently. For example, some souls of the believers will be locked in the grave. It will not be going and taking the shape of the birds. No, it will be in the grave, punished for certain sins. And the proof for that, what the Prophet ﷺ said, that a person walking in arrogance, and after his death, Allah let his soul on earth punished until the day of judgment. So that shows you also there are certain people will be punished for their deeds, for certain deeds that they committed while they are on this period, which is considered the barzakh, or the time of death. Yes.
Jazakallah khair for an excellent question, sister. Brother in the front, inshallah. Thank you for your patience.
Assalamu alaikum. I have one more question actually. It's just out of curiosity. Actually, I don't know the Arabic language, as I couldn't understand this language. So I try to understand through the translation, English translation. So the question is, when I read the description of paradise, I feel like it is from the point of view of a male believer. So is it like that the whole description that is given in the Quran Sharif is from the point of view of a male believer only, and not any description from a female believer?
He's saying that everything in paradise looks to be good for males and made only for males, and always use that as it's for male, for male, for male. No, anything for male apply for female as well. Everything in male apply to female. In Arabic language, we say, maybe we use the verb or the way the talking, it's referred to a male, but in reality it referred to both. And instead of you saying every time he or she, you might see he and you meant both. You might say she and it applied to both. So that's the way in the Quran. So anything you hear about paradise, it applied to both. That's why if a woman, for example, enter paradise, she will be provided a husband. If she doesn't have a husband, or her husband didn't make it to paradise, she will be given a husband. Anything applied to men will apply to women as well in paradise. Thank you.
We'll go to the back mic, brother section, inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Rajul Munir. I am a college student where I have a doubt. After that, is it possible for the soul of the person to come back to this world and roam around? And some people say that they have the soul of others and who are dead, and they behave the same as the person who is dead. Is it possible for them?
The soul of the believers will not be roaming around, neither the soul of the disbelievers. It will not be roaming around on earth. Those who claim that they see the soul of the dead one, or the soul of the dead one came in the shape of the dead one and he see it, most likely they did not see the soul, they have seen the qareen, the jinn who always in the company of the human. And that jinn come in the shape of that person, and sometimes that jinn try to deceive the person. And sometimes come to you before death and tell you, I'm your father. And you see really the picture of your father or mother, and will tell you, don't die as a Muslim. I die before you, and that's not true. And this will be the jinn, the qareen of your father, taking the shape of your father, the shape of your mother, and come and tell you that. That's why we did not come to the conclusion that Islam is the true religion by anything but the correct methods, by examining the evidence and the proof that Muhammad was a messenger of Allah, that the Quran cannot be other than a book and a word of Allah. So you don't need a dream, you don't need somebody to come, or a jinn or a soul to come to tell me the truth. That's why this can be a deceiving. But if you're a true believer, this will not trick you, it will not deceive you, because you know that this is not right, even if this is come in the shape of your parents or something like that. So those people use the jinn, it's not the soul, it's not the soul of the person. The only thing, it may be related, it's mentioned by the scholars, in dreams, and you know, when the person dies, his soul leaves the body. Some scholars said maybe the soul of that person will meet the soul of another person dead in paradise or something like that. And that's why when you wake up, you see, like as if you see your parents, you see somebody die in reality, and you talk to him. But Allah knows best. No. وجزاكم الله خيرا وصلى الله وسلم على نبينا محمد سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك.
Spread the word, oh man. Spread the